In the 1960s, astronauts orbiting Earth expected to see nothing but endless desert when they passed over the Sahara. But then, something impossible appeared. A massive, near-perfect circle, 25 miles wide, staring back at them like a cyclopean ruin carved into the Earth itself. From space, it looked deliberate, artificial, a structure so vast it defied explanation. Scientists called it the Richat Structure. The world would come to know it as the Eye of the Sahara. And from the moment it was discovered, a single question burned in the minds of researchers. What was this thing? A geological fluke? The remnants of an ancient cataclysm? Or something far more unsettling, something erased from history? Because the deeper they looked, the more the evidence pointed to an unthinkable truth. Ancient texts matched its dimensions. Geological records revealed it once stood in a land of rivers, not sand. And then came the most shocking realization of all. This wasn't just a natural formation. Some believe it holds the key to the greatest mystery of the ancient world, the lost civilization of Atlantis. This isn't speculation. Satellite imagery, climate data, and forgotten maps all whisper the same terrifying possibility. The Sahara wasn't always a desert, and the Eye of the Sahara wasn't always buried. Something happened here, something we were never meant to find. The Eye of the Sahara isn't just a geological oddity, it's a riddle carved into the Earth itself. Officially known as the Richat Structure, this colossal formation stretches 30 miles across, so vast it can only be fully seen from space. At first, scientists assumed it was the scar of an asteroid impact, but when no evidence of a collision could be found, a new theory emerged. This was erosion on a scale unlike anything else on the planet. Yet the deeper researchers looked, the stranger it became. The Eye's near-perfect concentric rings don't just resemble erosion. They mirror Plato's exact description of Atlantis, a circular city with alternating rings of water and land. Even more unsettling, the dimensions match. The Sahara, now a wasteland, was once a lush, watery region 12,000 years ago, the same era Atlantis supposedly vanished. Then there are the satellite images. The symmetry is too precise, the geometry too deliberate. Ancient maps like the 16th century Piri Reis chart depict landmasses they shouldn't have known about, including what some claim is the Eye itself. Could this explain why local legends speak of a lost city of the gods buried beneath the dunes? But here's what science can't explain. No natural process on Earth creates perfectly circular, multi-ringed formations like this. None, and if the Eye was man-made, it would mean rewriting human history entirely. The sands have hidden the truth for millennia. But one question remains. Are we looking at the world's most incredible natural accident, or the corpse of a civilization we've forgotten? For over 2 millennia, Plato's account of Atlantis has stood as history's greatest unsolved mystery, a tantalizing blend of precise detail and mythic grandeur. In his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, the ancient philosopher describes an island empire of staggering sophistication, a circular capital city with alternating rings of land and water, advanced enough to harness geothermal energy and construct monumental architecture. This was no primitive settlement, but a civilization that allegedly mastered sciences we wouldn't rediscover for thousands of years. Then, in a single apocalyptic night, it vanished beneath the waves, punished by the gods for its hubris. Modern scholars have long dismissed the story as allegory. But in 1965, when Gemini astronauts photographed a gargantuan bullseye staring up from the Mauritanian desert, even the most skeptical researchers felt a chill. The Eye of the Sahara wasn't just vaguely circular. It matched Plato's descriptions with terrifying specificity. The concentric rings, the 25-mile diameter, even the elevated central plateau where Plato claimed the royal citadel stood. Geologists call it erosion. The ancients might have called it proof. The location presents another spine-tingling alignment. Plato placed Atlantis beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancient name for the Strait of Gibraltar. Draw a line southwest from there and you'll intersect directly with the Eye. This isn't some vague directional hint, it's a geographic bullseye. even more compelling. When Plato wrote his account, the Sahara had already been desert for millennia, yet his description of Atlantis's lush, water-rich environment perfectly matches what we now know the region looked like 12,000 years ago, complete with the vast river systems recently mapped beneath the sands. The implications are earth-shaking. If the eye is Atlantis, then everything we thought we knew about human civilization is wrong. There should be no Bronze Age metropolis boasting such precise geometry, no culture capable of such urban planning before the rise of Egypt or Sumer, and yet, there it is. A structure so massive we needed space travel to recognize its shape. A ruin so old it watched the Sahara turn to dust. Perhaps the most haunting question isn't whether Atlantis existed, but why we're so determined to prove it didn't. Beneath the Sahara's shifting sands lies evidence of an ecological catastrophe so profound it may have erased an entire civilization from memory. Satellite imagery reveals the ghostly traces of vast river networks and megalakes that once made this wasteland flourish with life. Until approximately 5,000 years ago, when the rains mysteriously stopped and the Great Drying began. What makes this climate shift particularly chilling is how abruptly it occurred. Geological records show the Sahara didn't gradually transform. It flipped like a switch from lush greenery to barren desert in what scientists now call the Sahara termination event. For any advanced culture living there, this would have been an extinction-level threat. Yet Plato's account insists Atlantis didn't slowly decline. It was destroyed in a single day and night. The land itself bears scars that support this apocalyptic scenario. Deep seismic faults riddle the region surrounding the eye of the Sahara, evidence of prehistoric earthquakes powerful enough to redirect entire river systems. The structure's central basin contains thick salt deposits identical to those found in areas struck by sudden tsunamis or massive flooding events. Even more intriguing are the magnetic anomalies detected beneath the eye's rings, distortions that suggest buried structures far older than the surrounding geology. Perhaps most telling is a cryptic notation on the Piri Reis map near the eye's location, a single phrase claiming here stood the cities drowned when the earth shook. This aligns disturbingly well with core samples showing marine sediments mixed with volcanic ash layers, hinting at a disaster sequence of earthquakes, flooding, and possibly even volcanic activity. Taken together, the evidence paints a terrifying picture. A thriving civilization, advanced enough to build in perfect concentric circles, could have been hit first by catastrophic seismic events, then finished off by the Sahara's relentless desertification. The eye's strange symmetry may be all that remains, the stone skeleton of a circular metropolis preserved through some quirk of geology, while every organic trace was scoured away by sand and time. This raises an unsettling modern parallel. Are we looking at humanity's first recorded climate collapse? A warning from 12,000 years ago, written in stone and sand. As the evidence mounts, a more disturbing question emerges. Why does mainstream archaeology treat the Eye of the Sahara like a forbidden subject? The silence isn't just academic skepticism, it's part of a pattern that stretches back centuries. Consider the Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513 with impossible precision. Not only does it depict Antarctica's ice-free coastline, a fact confirmed by modern sonar, but its rendering of West Africa shows peculiar details near the eye's location. Details no European explorer could have known. The map's own annotations state it was compiled from 20 older charts dating back to Alexander the Great's era. What civilization had this knowledge, and why was it forgotten? The implications are explosive. If advanced societies existed before recorded history, everything we've been taught about human progress collapses. Our timeline of agriculture, architecture, and astronomy would be fiction. Perhaps this explains the systematic destruction of ancient knowledge, from Julius Caesar's burning of Alexandria Library, where Plato reportedly studied Atlantis texts, to the Vatican's locked archives containing heretical pre-Christian maps. Even today, excavation permits for the Eye are mysteriously delayed while nearby mining operations proceed unchecked. But the most chilling evidence comes from what's missing. In 2018, archaeologists using ground-penetrating radar detected geometric anomalies beneath the eye's central dome, structures with right angles no natural process creates. When a research team petitioned to investigate, their equipment was lost in customs for 18 months. Coincidence? From the Cathars burned for preserving Gnostic texts to modern academics blacklisted for challenging orthodox timelines, the pattern repeats. Certain truths are dangerous. What are they protecting? Maybe not just history, but power. Every empire rewrites origins to justify its rule. If humanity has risen and collapsed before, our current systems lose their divine mandate. The Sahara's secrets threaten more than textbooks. They undermine the very foundations of control. As researcher John Anthony West observed, we're not just looking for lost cities. We're fighting a war against organized forgetting. The sand won't keep its secrets forever. Satellite imagery improves daily. Underground scanning technology now peers through stone like X-rays. Sooner or later, the truth about the eye will surface, and when it does, we may discover we're not the first advanced civilization to rule this planet, just the latest to forget what came before. The Eye of the Sahara doesn't just defy explanation, it defies our entire understanding of history. This isn't merely a debate about geology versus archaeology. What we're confronting is a rift in the foundation of human knowledge. The concentric rings match Plato's Atlantis with terrifying precision. The ancient maps depict lands they shouldn't have known. The geological evidence suggests catastrophic flooding exactly when Atlantis supposedly fell. And yet, the official response remains unchanged. Just erosion. Nothing to see here. But erosion doesn't create perfect circles. Erosion doesn't align with 2,400-year-old descriptions. Erosion doesn't explain why every anomalous discovery, from the Piri Reis map to those underground radar scans, gets dismissed, lost, or buried under bureaucracy. There are only two possibilities, and both should keep us awake at night. Either we've stumbled upon the greatest archaeological find in human history, the corpse of a civilization that rewrites our past, or we're witnessing the most extraordinary case of natural coincidence ever recorded. But ask yourself this: since when does coincidence span millennia across geology, mythology, and cartography? The Sahara guards its secrets well, but the truth has a way of resurfacing. Perhaps in our lifetime, someone will finally dig where they're not supposed to dig. Someone will read the text they're told to ignore. Someone will connect the last forbidden dots. Until then, the eye keeps watching, waiting, and the most important question isn't, what is it? It's why don't they want us to know?